What up, though?
That intro is
Yo,
fire. That intro music is fire. I'm sorry.
Had me jamming there, man.
I was trying not to jam. Okay.
Sigh. Yeah, that was a great beat.
That
Go
was a
ahead,
real
uh,
nice
Devon.
intro. Good job.
all right, we are live with the comfy couch. So I'm going to turn it over to the host, Miss Siobhan.
Hi, everybody. I am here on this great podcast about nothing, which is actually a setup to be turned into something because we are talking about spiritual healing today and what it looks like for my chocolate people that's on the screen, my black and brown community of men. So they are going to ask me a slew full of questions, concerns, or whatever pertaining to their mental health and from a spiritual aspect, because that's what I do. I am going to answer to the best of my abilities and drop some wisdom from a female perspective, because it's different when you're dealing with a man, but from a female perspective about how they can enhance their everyday lives and become better men. Yay! So y'all can actually just fire off whatever's coming to your mind right now or any questions that you've been had, and we can get
Um,
this going.
I would like to know, like, what do we consider, like, what am I going to consider spiritual healing? What am I, what am I looking for? Like a feeling? Where do I need to be? What is technically what is that considered?
So spiritual healing, it's just a fancy word for soul work. A lot of times when you get counseling and when you get therapy, they only want to work on your mental. They only want to work with what's concerned, the first initial thought that's on your mind and anything of that nature. Soul work, spiritual healing is us really getting to the root and the cause of whatever the problem is that you're suffering with. A lot of people like to cover up when they say that, hey, are you okay today? Naturally, that's what we do as humans when we interact. Are you okay? And we just automatically rebuttal and say, yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a little tired. But we never take the time, that 10 to 15 minutes, to engage in that conversation and be like, okay, so what's really going on? Are you really good? Is anything bothering you? Did anything trigger you today? Are you having any feelings about A, B, C, and D from your childhood, from adolescency? Is there anything that I can do to help you? So we're getting to the roots of the matter when I say spiritual healing and when I do spiritual counseling, because the root is oftentimes overlooked in this field.
Now,
Does
how
that
would you
answer your question?
yes, but like how would you think about pulling that out of someone who doesn't like honestly doesn't isn't good with sharing? How would you go about trying to get that out of them? Because that's not something that somebody just easy to offer up. Like, hey man, I'm
That's
I'm
true.
feeling like the second time you asked me, you know what? Matter of fact, I feel like shit. Like, so how do you actually get that out of somebody? Like, how do you go about that? I know you can't be. I don't know. You can't be badgering them and persistent because you might push them
Right.
away.
So,
How would you go about it?
so personally for me, I know myself to be a safe space. So when I'm interacting with people or even when I'm crossing over or we're cohabitating spaces, the energy is real, right? So you
Hmm.
know who you can talk to, who you can trust, or you can just feel that this person is really comfortable. I am an extremely comfortable, down to earth person. And why I got into this field is because a lot of people would just randomly be walking up to me at Walmart, at Sears, at Kroger's, because I'm from the South. And it's common for us to interact down South because we're used to greeting and having these long conversations. But I would
Very
realize their conversations would be longer and they would start to tell me family history from 1842. And I'm like, whoa, that's a little too personal. I can help you, but you opening up too much. So after I figured out and got comfortable with people being comfortable with me, and in spirituality we call that discernment. You're picking up on the person knowing that it could be something wrong there. So for me, I actually can dig a little deeper and be like, well, you just look a little sadder than normal. Do you feel like sharing? And usually for me, that opens the person up to be like, okay, I didn't sleep last night. I had a lot on my mind. And then boom, my conversation, I opened the door. They gave me the key to open the door, and then we'll just unravel and really get to the root of why they didn't sleep well last night. Maybe because they had a fight with their mentally ill grandparent and it discouraged them and A, B, C, and D. So
Man, that you listen. That's a amazing talent to have. You got to be a bold person because I can't imagine like a person be like, "Yo, I'm all right," and then you have the sixth sense to pick up on that to be like, "Hey, you sure?" And then they open up to you. But then on the other hand, you can get that person who's like, "Hey, back off, lady." So
hmm
you to have the ability to turn the other cheek and just to be like, "Hey, all right, this person didn't want to share." That's something amazing to have, and I commend that. I wish I had that. That's an innate ability. Oh, my bad,
you
fellas.
do have it. You do have it. It's just probably expressed in a different way than being verbal. And in counseling, we figure that out. Like, what's a way that you engage with people when your spidey senses are tingling? When you know to just call your brother and check on him, or just for y'all to even laugh. You never know. Like, he probably could have, not saying that it's real, but he could have been crying on that phone before you called him. And then that call, that initial call that you made, to be like, let me just go check on Jerome.
Men aren't allowed to cry.
Men
No.
are allowed to
I'm
cry.
listen, we about to go left as hell real quick.
Uh-oh. So
I'm gonna
are
tell
they?
you, I'm not. Hey, shooter not going to shoot yet because I go left like quick. I let everybody get theirs off before we go
Well,
left.
no, that's a valid question. I mean, as a
I mean
part of
that.
spiritual,
I
as
mean,
part of spiritual healing, like you got to
That is
ask the
part of
question.
spiritual healing.
Like, our spiritual healing for a man is different than it has to be for a woman because there's going to be a lot of openness that women naturally have because they're more emotional creatures versus men who are more logical and based in fact and rooted in truth. Like, and we don't even communicate the same way. So
Right.
then,
facts.
you have to ask the question of how how can we truly be spiritually healed when
Hmm.
it's already put on us to have a certain level of you can't cry, you can't complain. You got to just buck up and get to it. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you deal with that stigma on men?
It takes a lot of courage to break the stigma. And the advice that I give my male clients, because I actually have more male clients than female clients, and with having them, they have taught me how not to ask so many questions. Because y'all know we like to beat around the bush, because we got to get the gab. We're women, but with me, you have to just be straightforward. You have to be a straight shooter and just ask the question plain, right? And in counseling sessions, I would just be beating around the bush trying to get an answer, and they would just be so disconnected. And I figured out by way of speaking to them and letting them be open and candid with me that it takes a lot of courage to even muster up the strength to be like, okay, something is not right with me, because women, and I'm speaking for my species, God help us, we have made y'all feel so unsafe, right? Whether it's mom, grandma, anything of that nature, we haven't. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Mhm.
now
We haven't painted the best picture. We're not going to be perfect, but we haven't painted the best picture of our black and brown community of men coming to us to spill the beans like we can come and spill to y'all. Because for us, when we grow up, we're treated like princesses, right? It's the you can get whatever you want, that fairy tale life. You need a man to cater to you. On the upside of that, we don't see how y'all get raised unless we have siblings. And then again, conversations with parentals are different when you're dealing with a man child that you have to grow up. So a lot of times that courage, it gets diminished and it gets chopped down because the world teaches you just to paint on a fake face and go out and muster up your strength to make it because that's what you see. And that's what's etched in our DNA going back to our ancestry. However, again, being
brave enough to sit and say to someone that you trust, it doesn't have to be a counselor or a therapist, that something's not right. I can see that I'm a little dysfunctional in an area where I know normalcy needs to be, and I'm not there, and I need help getting there. So having the bravery and the courage to just speak up when you feel like you're off. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, you did in part, but also created
Can't hear
additional
y'all.
questions. Can you hear me?
Okay.
You hear me?
I
Y'all
can
can
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Sorry, hold on.
All right. Sounds like she's having trouble. I mean, I would agree it does take courage, to open up. I think what we kind of experience a lot of times is that courage is a little displaced because we can go to our therapist and have these conversations and be okay, and counselors and mentors and all that, but like and a lot of times in a lot of actual relationships and things like that, people have an expectation of you to be able to take care of yourself. So
Right.
that vulnerability is not, that safe place is very minimal. And
Hmm.
it's, and for men, it feels like kind of dangerous to put anybody in that space where you're that open to, because most of the time it's used against you, or you're considered less of a man because you have some sort of issue or something that you have to go get help for instead of just being able to deal with it yourself.
I'm sorry.
Facts.
I feel bad because that's so true.
Yeah.
It's true. Like I take my fault for my species for allowing that to be a gap between how we communicate and how we make y'all feel unsafe and not have the vulnerability to actually exhale the way we do. It's not fair.
Well, hence why most of your clients are male.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I honestly never understood that until more candid conversations with men. Like when you become a safe space and they can tell that you're not going to take what you give them in private and just berate it to make them feel belittled, it's more of a healing currents that can happen, if that makes sense. That flow, because once you open up the healing well, it doesn't stop. And for
Yeah.
men, because it has been suppressed for y'all for so long, to actually have somebody sit in front of you and say, hey, I care, I'm here for you, I'm not trying to get with you, I'm not trying to manipulate you, I'm not trying to hurt you, I really want to see you prosper. Then it's like, okay, well, when's my next session? Let's book, because it's 30 years worth of things that I need to talk about, and I'm only 21. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I know, speaking personally, I know I'm on a healing journey myself right now. So
yes, say.
for me, getting to the point of opening up, it's more so a lack of trust in anybody.
Mhm.
Feeling the feeling of being judged if I present you with my problem, what I'm going through, or you not being able to fully understand and comprehend what I'm doing or the journey that I'm currently on, and it just makes you shut down. Like for me, isolation is my go-to. So I've been spending a
Mm,
lot of time here lately, outdoors and in the woods or wilderness and things like that, trying to tie back in because I feel like that's the only thing that will listen to me, whether it be the trees, speaking to the trees, or speaking to the animals and insects that I come across, feeling like I'm not going to be judged by them more so than I would be if I were to open up to even one of my closest friends and things like that, who may not fully understand, who may be like, oh, you tougher than that, you bigger than that, you can get over this, you'll overcome this hurdle, this obstacle. What would you say to people or individuals like myself who lack that trust or that feeling of, okay, this is going to be properly reciprocated and received, and I know that if I present them my problem, they will come at me with some type of unbiased opinion and just give me that real. How would you how would you approach that situation for somebody?
I would say, well, personally to you and anybody in that situation, to trust yourself enough to try. Trust yourself enough to try. You going to do earthly, natural nature things to release yourself is a segue, and it's a momentum that's building you up into actually having those conversations with a real person. So it's all a practice module. You're not just going out there to get your freedom and get your healing and word vomit, because that's what we call it. It's like when you're just talking and getting your emotions and feelings out. You're not word vomiting in nature for no reason. I really believe that you're being set up to direct all of your concerns or just your cares for an individual that's a human being that can actually reciprocate the peace that you feel when you're out in nature and that cool, calm serenity that you get. So trust yourself enough to try to know that it's really individuals out here that are not going to neglect the fact that you have come to them, but what's really weighing on your heart.
Okay.
I think a little bit of what Cam was saying. I think a lot of times as men, even as individuals, a lot of times we just tell people to, buck up, get over it,
Hmm.
um, and that's not really helping. I don't think, especially as men, we're really taught to deal with trauma or healing, and that's our go-to response. Yeah, he'll get over it. It'll be all right, you know.
I,
Um,
I think we heal different ways too. Because like
That's
that's
what
make
true.
me
that's what
heal.
I
You
was
know
gonna
what make
say.
me heal.
We
And
heal in different ways. Yeah, you're right
and
about that.
when I travel, go somewhere and I go buy that $200 something bottle or something to bring back home to add to my bar that I can sip on and be happy with. Oh
Right,
yeah, I'm
right,
healing.
right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm healing. Catch
See
me out
me.
on the island somewhere where I don't speak none of the language, but everybody speaks the money. Oh yeah, I'm healing. I'm healing. Okay. Find me in a festival, hold somebody's hand, feeding them sugar, and
Oh,
then I
you
can
heal.
let them go and watch them go crazy on somebody else. Oh yeah, I'm healing.
You
I'm
healing.
healing. Don't
That's what.
don't let Uncle E take your kids to festivals and fairs and all that. I'm buying all the sugar and giving it to your child and being like, "What? I didn't do nothing. Thank you. You didn't say nothing." That's his fifth funnel cake. That's right, because he's fun when he's on sugar, and I want to see him go wild. I'm healing by doing that, but I don't think it's destructive. Is that destructive healing?
That I was gonna say.
I would say yeah.
Piggybacking off that, like, is is there a process to healing? Does a person who has to go through that process where they have to get drunk and they have to get high before they get to the process of where they're healing themselves in a constructive way? Is that needed sometimes? Can we say, oh, that's wrong, you shouldn't be doing that, but it's helping them get to their destination? Whereas you got some people who will heal by immersing themselves in hard work and betterment of themselves. So, what is there any right way or wrong way to heal? Is that a wrong way when a person decides, hey, I'm about to get alcoholic for a while, like this, I want to drown myself, but then you do eventually click and it turns around? Is that a wrong way of healing? Even though you do get the same result at the end, because they say you got to hit rock bottom, before you can come back up to the top sometimes.
Darn shooter, that's a layered question.
Yeah,
Um,
it is. Yeah, I just he said, hey, yeah, we want to hear this. Come on.
I mean, I do. I mean, I just want to know if like creating chaos that makes me feel better.
At the time, yeah, that's part of my healing process.
That may come off as inconsiderate or destructive around me, but
yeah.
I'm better for it. Can that be healing? I'm just saying.
So, darn it. I'm
I
trying
need
to
to get it out
remember
of my
if I can
system,
answer
right?
this.
This like if I just need to get it out of my system type healing, right? And then just a quick flight to Vegas, boom, 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 have some crazy nights, win money, lose money, go crazy, have a what is it, hangover real experience, you know what I'm saying? Wake up married at home and start again. Like that's not
Even though we know that's destructive behavior, but this
I
destructive
feel
behavior is
so
helping me on
much
this journey because it's
better
all a
now.
learning experience. It's all a learning experience.
Oh my God, I feel so much better now.
Cathartic.
You can tell me no. You can tell me that's not healing. I'm not gonna be offended.
So
Right.
listen, because
Click.
you don't ever want to condemn how somebody is embarking on their process, because it's not ours is not going to look the same. We did not grow up in the same household. We did not have the same teachings or raising, so it's going to be different. But for turning to alcohol and some of my clients drug use and sexual encounters, it's a process. I will say that talking to people, I have learned that it's a lot of classical conditioning. And in psych, when we say classical conditioning, we mean it's habitual. It's something that was ingrained in you. The things that you've seen growing up, if all of these experiments back in the day when they would unfortunately lock these kids in cages and treat them like dogs, right? And then year 5, after being 0 to 5, they finally come out and they don't have any human interaction at all because they've been classical conditioned to be a dog. Are you going to be surprised that they're acting more like a dog in nature or a human being?
I mean,
I'm going to
I
go ahead,
understand.
babe.
No, I
I'm
understand.
going to expect you to act like an animal because that's all you have been aware of and submersed in. So, on your journey, if it's natural for you to go to those addictive measures or to that extreme to relieve the pain that you're feeling in the moment, nobody's condemning you for that because you've been classical conditioning to suffice with, and it's a coping mechanism.
So,
However, the bottom part of that is still something going on. Eventually, they're going to get tired of doing that and want to get to the root of the problem.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair
So
to eventually, right?
you
But I
said
just
shot.
right. So, but like, I guess is it correct to say that the fact that there can be no judgment on someone's process of healing, that there's a gap in or a loophole in the process to where I can just stay messed up
I'm willing.
forever and
Hey, I'm willing.
say I'm
Hey, I'm
on my journey while that journey itself is chaotic and crazy. And then
AKA
as long as I end up at the end, like, you know what, but I'm okay now.
technically, I mean, hey,
I just wanted to make sure that for those people out there, they know, like, we won't judge you for your personal choices, but as they destroy you, we're just wishing for the best. we're really hoping for the best.
not all of it. Some of
You're
it, like
gonna
some of
eventually get tired. You're gonna
Yeah,
get tired, right? It's
yeah,
gonna come a day, like Shooter said, it's gonna come a day because the day is coming. The great reckoning always comes, and you're gonna get tired, and you're gonna hit rock bottom, and you're gonna eventually wake up and realize that those things that you have used as vices are not sufficing, and you really need to sit down and have some. It doesn't even have to be with a professional personnel, but you need to do some real soul work and have a conversation about how you can better enhance this area of your life that's really breaking you down on the inside, because
yeah,
I can go out in the world and make it seem like I have it all together. But when I get the notion to get the bottle and to drink, it's because I'm remembering and ruminating on things that have happened to me or my siblings or that I have seen, especially in the black and brown community. The violence and everything in itself that can really break us down, especially
yeah.
as a man. Like the killing and crime, I know a lot of people aren't vocal enough to talk about that, but it impels us in ways that we sometimes don't think about.
Yeah. What if
So,
my spiritual journey though lead? Why you? I'm just
oh,
what,
sorry. Okay.
what if
I have
my
to brace
spiritual
myself with you.
journey?
I have to brace myself.
I don't know why. There's straightforward questions. Uh, what if my spiritual journey leads me to places that other people may not think are good for me, but for me, I think they good. So I will take an example, right? Like, are you right? Like, shoot a right. Like, you hit rock bottom, right? And like for rock bottom, for some people, everybody is different, right? It's
Correct.
always different for everybody. So
Yes.
what if like what you think is rock bottom for me, I don't think is rock bottom. So yes, I've lost my place. Yes, I live in a 3-person tent with a fold out chair that I walk around with in a book bag with most of my life in. And yes, I want to be like Cam. I want to be one with the trees. So I'm out there in the woods, living off the land. I mean,
Franklin
what if
say,
that's my journey? Everybody else is like, I'm worried. I mean, he's become a mountain man. He wasn't like that. But
Oh my
me,
God.
I'm living my best life. I've named moths, all type of stuff.
If that's your journey, then sir, that is your journey. And to encourage anybody that is on that journey, when you do come back to society,
Come back? No. What if I never want to come back?
if you never want to come back, just know that I hopefully pray that it's somebody that is encouraging you to just be at peace with yourself. Because at the end of the day, that's what we all desire. Is to we want to be at peace with our family and friends, but the real key to this spiritual thing is to really be at peace and at one with yourself. So if
so you ain't
you
got
going out in nature to be
see
the
this
mountain
man.
man, if that's the key to you being healed and successful in your heart, mind, soul, intellect, and etc., then I encourage you to employ that.
Thank you, Shooter. I think that becoming human Sasquatches is a healing.
I believe so. Harry Henderson.
I'm just happy that all paths to healing are open. I mean,
That's
really, that's
that's all.
the result.
That's all I
That's
want to hear.
yeah,
That's
that's really what we just proved. All paths to healing are open. So thank you. You've made
All
it
right,
very
so
easy for us to do that.
so getting us back on track.
We're on track.
Is there a certain time frame for healing?
No, there's absolutely not a time frame.
nah, see, what about if it's
I
some
don't.
bullshit though? If it's some bullshit, it's got to be a time frame for some bullshit. Like you can't be sitting there like you can't be sitting there mad that a girl stood you up on a date and then you make a TikTok about it. It got to be a time frame on healing on that. Like nigga, you got 2 weeks. Like ain't no like.
See
It's not a time
again.
frame.
This is
That's
another
because
example
that's
of
not
men.
fair.
See, this is another example of how men treat stuff because we looking at it like,
Uh-uh.
hey, bruh, really? You just talked to her for 2 weeks, and
2 weeks.
you ain't you didn't even meet her in person.
I ain't
Buck up,
FaceTime.
bruh. Buck up. Right?
Her camera broke it down.
Like, don't make the TikTok. Shut up. Boo hoo about it. Jump on COD. Get your KD up. Go work
Man.
on something.
That's
Okay?
real shit.
Hey,
That's
Go
real
do
shit.
10 push-ups, bruh. Go do 10 push-ups.
be happy you saved
Go do 10
yourself on the
push-ups.
hill, man. Yeah, be happy, man. Like
See,
I'm just saying,
shooter like his leg day. Get out there. That's
I'm going. Hey, shit, I can go work out. Like, but yeah, what about if it's you talk about it? Ain't no time frame on that, man. Oh, see,
It's not a time frame on healing because what triggers you doesn't trigger me. And what I feel deeply and moved and emotionally, and for women, it is unstable. 9 times out of 10, I will give y'all that. But what unstabilizes me and my emotions, you can't rush me to get over it. And I think that's where the conflict between men and women happen when we do have those moments where you're like, okay, girl, that happened 5 days ago, get over it. And we're like, no, you don't see the precipice of the issue to me. This is highly important to me, but you're just negating it and pushing it to the side. I don't do that to you because you can come to me if you feel safe enough to come to me. So you can come to me and do that, but don't rush me. So I think that's where the gap between man and woman is. However, it's still no time frame.
but all right. On that note, we gonna dive deep into something. So what? So could it be some men who were raised by women
Uh-huh.
are more like women, where, like you say, they dwell on stuff, they won't let stuff go, because that's, I don't believe that's just an innate trait in a man. You have to learn that from somebody to be like, hey, you just like, I was raised by a single mother, and it's things I had to learn once I got older. But I learned things from my uncles and things like that. But
Mhm.
once I got married, my father-in-law taught me a lot, which is, hey man, ain't everything ain't worth arguing about. You acting like a girl. So is that something that I may have learned from my mother and grandmother, that men in this generation are learning, who didn't have a father, or the father that they had, they was a bitch ass nigga too, and they learned it. I'm sorry to put it that way, but that's what they learned as well. Okay, is how you said this? What did you say? Like classic conditioning? Is that something?
Classical today. Yes,
Is does that
absolutely.
fall
That's in
in
that
that?
category. Yes.
So we're doomed as
Okay,
men.
Sugar, let me find out. You trying to come for my job.
So we might be doomed as men, huh?
Yup. Just
I,
gonna turn
I,
into Sasquatch. That's what we got.
No, but y'all are not
Yup.
doomed. It takes, so
Disengage.
technically what y'all are doing is healing. This podcast, even though it's about nothing, y'all talk about something, and it's a way of releasing with your brothers. That's a form of healing. All hope is not lost for the male species when it comes to going on journeys to heal up yourself. You just have to be willing to do the work. And people try to make it seem like it's easy to be on a journey, to do the work. But it's absolutely hard. It's excruciating. It's frustrating. You're going to want to quit. You may even quit and you may not want to try it again. But when you get a taste of it, you'll figure out that and for us, we like to say generational curses, those cycles that you're breaking, especially if you have children, anything that we have seen, anything that we have visibly experienced, trauma, et cetera, you don't want that for your children, right? So as the adults in their lives, aunts, uncles, etc., you want to get on a pathway to know, like, okay, that wasn't healthy, that was actually dysfunctional. Let me better myself to teach you how to walk this thing out to do better, especially men and men, because it's a high percentage of single moms raising men. And I can speak honestly because I'm a mom. I don't know the first thing about teaching my daughter anything that y'all can.
Uh,
I can't do it. Her father has to be in her life because there's some key things, some principal things that she needs to know that's only going to come from a father. And going back to what Shooter said, um, I'm not going to say it the way he said it, but when the men are missing and the lack falls on the children, you are classical conditioned to be raised up and not see that you're actually repeating the same patterns. Because when you grow up, you're looking at, I'm never going to be like that person, right? That's our first thing. The person that did us wrong, like, I can't stand you. I'm never going to do anything that you did. The way you raised us was completely crazy. I'm going to make sure when I have kids, I'm not going to do it. And lo and behold, when you go and look at the family generation, nothing's changed. I grew up to be just like my aunt, who was absolutely crazy. And I'm repeating cycles and patterns because I did not take the time to work on myself to actually fix it and figure out why she went crazy.
Hello?
We here.
Yo,
yeah, but go ahead. Like,
Everybody
are we good?
froze after these days.
No,
Listen,
no, no.
that was a bar though. Like that's
right,
really
Yeah,
right.
I think everybody just took a minute to embrace that. Like,
Take it on in. Take it on in.
the fact that that's a big part, being able to recognize that. I think that's the biggest thing with one of the biggest things with healing is recognizing that, hey yo, I'm messing up, or you just come to that point where you like, hey, I need to flip the switch. So
No, for
I
real,
want to
yeah.
be.
I didn't. I'm sorry, babe. Go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead, go ahead.
I personally, for me, the reason why I was on my journey was because I was a belittling savage. Okay, especially when it came to men, because that's all I seen. I seen women in my family just completely be nasty and vile to men, and it wasn't until I had my daughter and I realized the way that I was talking to her father was completely out of whack. Like, it's some things that I said that I should probably got knocked up my head for it. He'd be like, you know what, girl, chill out. But I was used to hearing those vicious things that would actually deplete a human being instead of build them up. So when I had her, I was like, something's not right. This is not normal. This is not how you build. You want to be so gung ho and say that you're Christian, but you tearing down somebody and making them feel like they want to hurt themselves. That doesn't make sense. Go back to the root, soul healing, spiritual healing, and figure out really what's going on. And in my journey, I have realized that it's a generational thing that is put on me to break because I'm the one that needs to do it. Right? It's in my power because I have the determination to make sure that it stops here with me so that it doesn't wreak havoc on the generations that I produce. And even going further, my brother committed suicide, my eldest brother. It was a whole bunch of stuff that I was unaware of as a younger sibling. So when we got the news and when everything started to come out, I'm like, men need to talk. It's not funny. It's not funny to push their feelings aside, y'all emotions, or how when y'all express yourself. It's not funny to just diminish it because everything that was rolling in his mind from the time he was whatever to whatever when things happened, when he pulled the trigger, that was real life for him. He really lived that. And nobody took the time to actually sit down with him and ask him, are you more than okay? Do you really need help? Is it anything that happened in your childhood that's messing with you, that's creeping up on you, that's making you feel like you just don't even want to be here? And me, even being a counselor, I feel like I missed my mark when I first found out. How are you in the mental health field and you can't get a jump on noticing your family's mental health issues? Those things that y'all silently have to deal with is real life. And I know the reason why he did what he did was because he was hurting. And that hurt was something really deep. And because society pushes that ban on y'all not speaking up for yourselves, it made him feel like he needed to take a choice that was, he didn't have an option to him personally. Like suicide was the only way to get out of this world without having to open up myself and tell everything that's really going on with me because I don't want to look like a punk. I did so many years in jail. Like he was in and out of jail. I did so many years in jail. Like what would people think of me if I actually sat down to go get help? How would my mom look at her oldest son as the toughest one, as the reliant one, the resourceful, responsible one, and be like, oh yeah. So that's real. I know I went on a tangent, but I just felt like that was the perfect moment to insert the importance of getting help and realizing the responsibility it falls on us to better ourselves. And when we know that something is not ticking right, it's time to go seek professional help or to go seek a spirituality that is really going to ground you so that you don't have to make those choices like my brother made.
So that's very good message, and you know we definitely can resonate with that. And you know, sorry to hear about the loss of your brother. You know, I know like we've all lost people behind some tragic situations. You know, where we just kind of we as men sometimes just go overlooked, and there's a major percentage of the male population that just, to your point, just go overlooked. And the way that we deal with our issues are truly not to communicate them all the time. And it is nice to have a group of friends that you can like open up to. And even though there's layers, levels to that as well, like you don't tell everything, you may tell, 40% of what's going on. And
Right.
even then, it's still like men lingo because you ain't going there, going to your boys and going like, "Hey y'all, I met this girl and she made me feel wonderful." Like you're not doing that. Like, oh yeah, she cool. Like we still, we chop our words with each other to not be soft and open still. Like so, I definitely can understand how difficult it is for most men to be able to do it. I'm lucky, you know what I'm saying, because I believe my belief in chaos just allows for me to just say how I feel, and I don't really have to worry about why you cover your face. I'm just speaking, but I believe my belief in chaos has been easy to say how I feel, and I don't have to worry about what other people say because, like, the world is chaotic. So, butterfly effect. I'd rather just go ahead and
Has your life groomed you to
blame the
be
butterfly.
destructive?
No,
See,
no,
has
no.
your life groomed you to be destructive?
Yes, yes,
Classical conditioning. So it
yes.
doesn't shock me though, because the vices that we choose and how we choose to vent and live out our lives is a direct reflection of how we were brought up. Not throwing shade to mom, dad, grandparents. That's not what I'm saying. It's just because of things that we have experienced and seen that went on especially as adolescents and teenagers, that we just naturally have no idea that we groomed and that we took on to help nurture what's really going on.
So
So
but what if I just have this natural primal need to do childish things that make me feel good? Like when I was a kid, to your point, when I was a kid, there was I went to a park one day and there was another kid that had ice cream, and I knocked the ice cream cone out the kid's hand and just watched his face, his disappointment. What's everybody laughing?
Because you're on your Dennis the Menace right now.
But it's the truth. So I did said thing, right? But his reaction was priceless. Because he looked down, he looked up at me, and looked back down, and looked back up at me. And then when the last time he looked down, I think he made up his mind, I can't beat him up, so I'm just gonna cry. And he kind of started tearing up and walked away. And I enjoyed that. So I mean, as a grown man, if I spend a couple hours every few months at Graders, knocking children's little cups out,
all right, I got you.
is that healing?
So do you have siblings?
Do I have
Hey,
siblings?
you know what?
Yeah, I got siblings.
And Eve, that day you created Superman.
Thank you.
100%.
You
100%.
have
Thank
siblings.
His name is Two Scoops.
Hit you with the sprinkle.
Two Scoops is still haunting me to this day.
Oops. Oh man.
What? I'm just saying.
That's how Superman is made, though. That is how his healing journey is getting revenge, slapping ice cream out of everybody's head. He just hide behind the bench at handles. As soon as you get your ice cream, he comes.
What?
We can't say he's wrong.
We can't.
What I'm
can't.
saying,
We did establish that earlier. We cannot say that he's wrong.
That's his healing journey.
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have siblings.
How many?
I have a brother and two sisters.
What number are you?
Number 3.
Okay.
But hold up. Technically, if I'm doing the math right, if I gotta do it right, I am 2 of 3 of my mother. My dad had an older kid, so that's how there's 4.
Are you more responsible than they are?
Yes.
Okay. So what I sense and what I hear you saying is
You better not
go
say
to
middle child.
extreme measures. You go to measures of doing things that relieve you because responsibility has always been tacked on you. So you really haven't had time to relish in being an innocent child. So when you make those decisions to do those things, it's the little boy on the inside of you saying, okay, we never got to do this. Or even when you were a child and you did that, it's like, okay, that sense of stabilizing the innocent me that I never really had time to become because of responsibility, me being picked out to be the responsible one. You're just, I don't want to say acting out in a bad way, but you're just hashing out those moments that you really didn't get to have that are vital for your manhood. Because people forget that when we don't have childhoods, we don't know how to do adulthood,
So
right?
I agree. And
Right.
if I'm hearing what you're saying,
Please help me.
Keep on.
I'm healed. Oh yeah.
Keep on with the bullshit.
I am healed.
Oh my
Why
God.
ain't y'all have the space of my adulthood, y'all? I'm out here living my best adult life and my best childhood. I mean, at the same damn time. can say they doing that.
At the same damn time.
Same damn time. I'm drinking water and liquor at the same damn time. Little juicy juice.
All right, I got a question. I got a question for Siobhan on a serious note. How do you
Thank you.
how do you counsel how do you counsel the men who come in who want to talk about the pressures of success, of being a successful man, being a provider, being a upper echelon, like this the pressure that's on a man to succeed, and everybody can't be number one. So how do you counsel that person?
That is so funny that you asked me that, Shooter, because what I wrote for you earlier actually pertains to that, but I'll do that later. Um, a
Oh,
lot I want to say before I give my answer, my male clients only actually come to me to learn how to have balance for everything that you just rattled off. Because if I don't have the stability to maintain my balance, all the pressure and all of everything is on me. I'm basically the pillar, right? If I move, things are getting out of place. It's just natural. Like the foundation was built around me because I'm the sturdy one that's holding it up. What does that look like to maintain not only being the pillar, not messing up, just being Mr. Perfect and still trying to heal myself? Guess what? You gotta choose. So in those moments when you know that you're being pressurized and everything is building up because you are the heavyweight champion of the world. So shout out to the men that are doing their thing in that area. You still have to learn how to maintain balance and choose in certain moments where it just has to be about you. Because what happens with men a lot is y'all are so ingrained with just doing and being handy workers that y'all forget to take a breath and step back and be like, whoa, do I even like doing this? Am I really present when I'm with my children? Did I really ever want to be a father? And if I did I ever want a father like this? Did I really want to run my dad's business? Blah, blah, blah. Whatever it is, that's your story. Are you present and aware enough to sit in those moments and be happy about the decisions that you have to take care of as a pillar? So just to go back and answer your question, I would just say to have balance, to recognize when you need to disengage, which it, and just to speak for women, when you guys disengage, that's not a failure for us. We are emotional enough to understand that y'all need to take a step back to breathe too. So the balance in disengaging and realizing I can't give you my 100% today. I only have 20 to give you. And that has to be okay. And you have to be okay as a man to not hear me saying that you're a failure when you come and tell me that you only have 20% to give because society has made it to be that when you say no, I can't do it, we cutting y'all down. Verbally, emotionally, okay? Financially sometimes if you're spiteful. Women, we gotta do better. But did that answer your question, Shooter?
Yeah, that
I
was
don't
good.
want to keep rambling.
No, that was a great answer.
Okay.
I agree. Great answer.
absolutely.
So I've known Siobhan for a while, and I've had some great conversations with her. Siobhan, I would like you to go around the room and just speak life into each and every one of these black men.
Oh, now you know I was prepared. Like I said, when Shooter asked that last question, as I was praying before I got on here at 11:37. I know y'all can't see, but this is real life for me. So at 11:37, as I was praying for us to be on this call, I had already gotten my encouraging words to speak to my chocolate guys that's in front of me. So who wants to go first? Don't
I'll go.
all
I'll
speak
go.
at
I always say
once.
I'll go.
I'll
Oh,
go
he raised his
first.
hand,
Shooter.
so
Man, yeah,
Shooter.
yeah.
Yay. Shooter, you were actually my longest one. I'm probably not gonna have time to say everything, so I'm gonna mush it and
No, you got
hopefully it's
time.
still gonna be I got time? Okay.
You got time.
So I got words for everybody. And if you disagree with the word, don't embarrass me on live. When we cut it, we can talk about it. right. Praise God.
Then that was
I got
you.
work for every. That was for E. No, that was for E. I wrote that down for real.
100%.
If you disagree with the word, don't cut me up online. Just wait till
Oh
we
yeah.
stop recording. Wait till we stop recording.
Hold
Just let
on.
it marinate
Why did you
until
have
he
to
stops
give
the
me
button.
a disclaimer? Why did mine
Because
need a
I had
disclaimer?
to write that down. I
I
can't
just
help
want
it.
you.
That's what I was
No,
doing.
I clearly can tell that there's some bias here. I'm just gonna go ahead and buy it.
I love you. It's not
Little
intentional. It's helpful.
discrimination on this panel this time. I don't know how that works.
Sure.
Should have got a 10-minute. Should have got a 10-minute
Everybody's listening.
essay
Everybody's
about
long. But shooting
10-minute
takes the longest. I
dissertation.
don't know why. I don't know why. Don't judge. I did not plan it, okay?
the
This is just the
10-minute
longest. Y'all just
expose on
long.
Shooter. Spent it today. 10 minutes. Cam got 35 seconds.
Oh, please stop.
All right, I'm sorry.
E got a head nod.
Wakanda forever. It literally just log off. That's what I'm getting. I already know. That's why you said. That's why I got a disclaimer first. If you don't agree, just don't say nothing. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna go last because yours is gonna be
Okay.
the hardest one to bite. That's what I'm saying.
To bite.
To bite. Yeah, because you may not agree with the word and what's gonna come after that, but it's just to chew on it and relish on what I'm encouraging you in to do. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. Let's let her do her
Is
thing.
that okay? Shooter, the word that I got for you was hope. HOPE, hope. And what I wrote down was a lot of aspirations and dreams. They are still valid, obtainable. God sees your heart, your effort, and your willingness not to give up, even when you know you can. God is fortifying your mind with more strength because you have a lot of responsibilities. So that ties back into the question you just asked me. And I was like, oh, that's so funny that you asked that because that's literally what I had already wrote for you. You have a lot of responsibilities and you can always use that extra push. Stay encouraged in keeping the right direction and keeping on the right path. And I know we just said the whole show that, don't put the pressure on men to be strong, but a lot of people aren't built for it tough, right? You are, fortunately. So, all responsibilities and all stress that come with being the pillar, because you're the pillar, it's okay. You were made for this. You have the inertia to push through anything. You're capable of it, and you wouldn't have been chosen to do the work if God knew you weren't capable. So I just encourage you as a black man to not get weary in well doing. That says that in God's word, and to just remain diligent in keeping up with doing the right thing because it's not a lot of men that are role models, especially nowadays with what we have on social media. But because it's you, it's going to be a higher demand of trust that's placed on you. And like they say, I know it's a cliche, but he does give his strongest battles to his toughest warriors. But even warriors need to take their gear off, right? So I encourage you to just do what you're doing by being mindful enough to say, okay, I'm going to disengage and take some time for me because I really need it.
I appreciate that. That's listen, it's right along with what's going on in my life. So I appreciate that all the way. Like
Yay.
right along with what's going on in life. So yeah, that hit the spot. I got nothing to say. You won't be getting cut up from me.
Who's next?
I'll go.
Cam? That was your voice so deep. My God.
No.
Where you at? Oh, okay. Cam?
Oh,
Page or
Cam,
something.
don't cut me up. Don't cut me up either.
Hey, I've been chill.
Don't cut me
I got you.
Okay, so
Got you.
the word that I got for you was love. I
Okay.
got love. And I literally wrote, hear me out, because I could tell that, and this is just me discerning, and y'all can always stop me when I'm wrong. This is just me discerning from when I was praying. I can tell that love hasn't always been kind to you, but you have been the reciprocity of what real love is to others. And a lot of times it's not fair, right? So are you single?
Yeah. Yeah.
To be on your own and to be lonesome, it's better than getting into a relationship because I don't have to deal with the drama, right? However, there is someone that is specifically designed for you, that is going to love you, embrace you, and encourage you and pull you through. You don't have, I don't know, I don't understand why men think that you have to, but you don't have to be the only one that's putting in 110% in a relationship. We, as a part of y'all rib, it's a requirement for us to do the same and to submit. So I just encourage you to not push love away in seasons when God is really trying to bring it to you, because you deserve to be nurtured the way that you give your nurturing. Is that okay? Is that right?
No, that's spot on. Exactly what I'm going through right now. So that's scary. One of them give you that information, I guarantee it. So you ain't come up with that on your own.
I,
But
I
that's good.
promise.
That's
I
that's
promise.
spot on. That's spot on. So I appreciate you.
See, I'm legit, y'all. I'm legit. Maybe not until I get to Eve.
Oh man.
All right,
Yeah,
Romy,
go
you
ahead and get
next.
ready.
Let's go.
You actually got the same word as Ken. I got love for you. I got you're deserving, and what you think is supposed to happen is really going to happen for you. The hope that you have in life and everything that you envision, not just for a wife, but for the manifestations of your company, your business, the brilliant ideas that you have. I can't go too long on you because we know each other, and I don't want to be like, oh, she's fine, she got all this information. But this was given to me strictly by the Holy Spirit. Everything that's on the inside of you is strictly a blueprint for manifestations of what you're going to construct. The $1 million blueprints, the $1 million dreams, the $1 million goals, they have to manifest itself. Don't you get discouraged and don't you get tired. And I can be a little more gritty with you because this is just how we are. Don't you dare get tired of pushing. It's too much on the inside of you that the world needs, that the world has to see, that the world has to taste because you're a great chef. That is a real healing for our community, for everybody that's involved, especially through food. Food speaks love, and the way that you nurture and you cater and you care is enough in itself. Believe that the love of your life is going to come in your life to do just that, and to make sure that you get everything that you need, not just some of what you need. I don't want you to settle. You don't deserve just some of what you need. Oh, she can give me her 30% while I'm doing 1,000 because you know you Jamaican, you got 100 drops. No, sir, we're not settling. They're never going to settle because it's not a part of what you have been commissioned to do. Your journey is national, it's international, it's going to take you around the world. So don't give up just because you don't have your rib yet. Is that okay?
Blessings. Blessings.
Hmm.
Oh, main event time. Let's go.
And here we go.
I'm ready for this.
Hold up.
He done took the glasses
Oh, let's get
In my in, in my
ready.
mind, that hear that Western sound like time. What's about to go down? It's about to go down. It's about to hit me with it. Eric, I've only met you today, and my discernment is going to tell me that you get on my damn nerve.
I would never. I love you. Yeah. Um. So the word I got for you
Oh, okay. The laugh. The word I got for you is laugh. Terrible.
I gotta be serious because this is real serious. This is
You
business.
laughed. I didn't do
I'm doing
anything.
business. I know, but okay, I'm sorry. Let me get my
You want
business
me to go
out.
off camera?
Do not cut me up. Thank you. I love you so much. The word I got for you was trust. See, you thought it was going to be something that was just all way out, but the severity of how you don't trust, it affects relationships, it affects mentality, and it makes you feel like you have to be by yourself. Your trust meter is a little broke. It's better ways. Not saying that what you're doing now is not good, but it's better ways for you to rebuild that. Are you single?
Technically, no.
That's a good answer. Good answer. That's right. Because if she's watching, praise God. But it's better ways for you to build that bond with the people that you are in relationship with your significant others. And not even that, I even wrote down with family members. Even going back to what we spoke about earlier in the podcast, because you've had the responsibility, your natural mind is just let me do it because I can get it done. Because if I leave it for y'all to do, my God, what we gonna have? A whole mess, and then I'm gonna have to clean it up. So if I put my hands to the plow and do it anyway, I know it'll be done in perfection, and I won't have to worry about any residual effects because it's gonna present itself the way that it needs to be done. You yourself as well are a pillar, and sometimes, and I can say we because I've had a problem with this as well. When you are the responsible pillar, it's hard for you to trust individuals because the work has been on us to carry the load. I want you to be able to put your load down this season and to open up your trust well for someone else. Hopefully, it's the individual that you're courting or seeing now, so that she can get a nice little bowl and dig the water out your well, and you still not feel like somebody's stealing or taking anything from you. Is that okay?
So what I heard was
I heard
give
put your
some,
I heard
give
put your
somebody,
load down. Put your
give
load down.
somebody,
Hey,
give,
yo, that's wild.
Y'all are so goofy.
Hey, put your load down. Say, hey, yo, that's
yeah,
wild.
I didn't say it. You did. I, you, you are right. I do need to trust. I do need to work on trust. You're right. That is great.
You need,
I'm not gonna cut you
got
up.
a
Yeah,
lot of
that's
work to
fair.
do.
I do. I do.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I gotta trust somebody with my load. I think I can do it.
Hey, yo.
Because you're
I'm
worth
just
it.
saying. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna trust
But you're
somebody
worth
with my
that
load.
though.
You say
I
what?
know you're being goofy, but you're worth that. You're worth allowing somebody into your space to trust them. Because do you want to be miserable and die without a significant other?
No, I don't want to be miserable and die without a significant other. And I do or have had trust issues in the past. It is something that I have worked on and have steps that I've implemented to constantly correct myself. But I do trust. There are people I trust and things that I trust. Like I trust my fish in the fish tank
I'm
because they're
sorry.
in the tank, and I trust my
I'm
lemon tree.
sorry.
You
I'm
don't
so
hear me?
sorry. I cannot hear
Oh,
you.
perfect. She can't hear me. Perfect. All right. So and I trust nobody. You can't hear me, can you?
I'm sorry. Hold on.
You can't hear me. All right. Just wanted to see if I can get that out. But you can trust that I'm gonna get my load off. Uh,
Jesus.
she told me that that's what I need to do. I'm gonna trust somebody with my load.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we hear you.
sorry.
yeah.
We hear
My
you.
folks is calling me, and my earbuds they go off when my call is coming through, so I don't know how to fix that. I'm
I'm
trying to
Jesus.
fix
sorry.
that.
I'm sorry to make your family call you or anybody call you while you're on a podcast because of me saying things. I apologize, but no, that's very sound advice. I don't have any qualms with it, but I will
Okay.
make sure
Well,
to follow your advice.
I have more to say, but I have to run really quick to give something to somebody. Jerome, can you take over until I reappear?
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, guys. Apparently, he is a horrible individual.
Damn. That's what we got out of that. That's what we got out of that. He is a horrible individual. Okay,
He's gonna drop a load off though.
but I mean, I didn't prescribe myself to drop off my load, so I'm only following the spiritual guidance that I was given. So when I go out today, we go to the food festival. I'm gonna meet somebody and trust that I can drop my
and
load.
trust that you can drop your load off.
Excuse
You
me,
know,
ma'am.
it's gonna be like Terminator Vision, load drop indicator.
My HUD gonna kick in.
Where did this show go?
I don't know.
It wasn't my fault though. I didn't do it.
A
But
little bit.
no, come
Just
on
a
now.
little
I didn't do that last part. That had nothing to do with me. But that was but it was good sound advice though. I definitely agree. I mean, I know it's very true that when you are someone who executes at a high level and that's expected of you, you know what I'm saying? Like for real, like being honest. Like I am I'm a professional in my regular life. That's the reason why I'm so fun and silly when I'm doing everything else, because to her point, I am 100% responsible for a lot of things in my day-to-day life. And,
Right.
It's very serious and I hold myself accountable. I've worked very hard to get where I am. So I don't easily just give people my responsibilities because it's not something that I can truly trust them with.
Yeah, because I mean,
In the manner that I would. So I get it.
everybody's not built the same. Because that laziness shit to get on your nerves. Like I can't stand. So I feel you on that. Where it's like it's hard to trust people in a position to be like, hey, you need to carry this out. You know what? Instead of me hovering over you, I just do it myself. So I that all the way.
My kryptonite consists of two things: laziness and stupidity. And if you got both of those, then
there's no reason to
yeah.
have. There's no reason to have either one. All you gotta do is you can work hard and you can attain knowledge. I mean, it's at the tip of your fingers.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to be the hardest worker in the room, man. That is for sure.
Yeah.
Listen, I literally just got a call from my employees asking me how to make something. And my reply back to them is, you're messaging me on a device with Google and YouTube.
Look it up.
You can't figure it out?
You gotta be self-sufficient. I mean, you just gotta live life to be the best as you can be of yourself. If I was making French fries, I'd be the best fry maker. I'd salt them the best. That's how you gotta live life. Nothing great comes doing it the easy way. And I think we can all attest to that. We all are hard working guys. And, I mean, I'm doing well in life. You guys all are too, but it's all came from working hard. So, I mean, it was a time in our life when we all were probably lazy at one time, and then the switch clicks, and you're like, yo, I want to do other stuff in life. So guess what? You got to do the things that you don't want to do, like you love them, to get what you want in life. So
yeah. A good discipline is to be able to do the things that you don't love to do and do them like you love to do them, because it's a responsibility. Something just know that you got to knock out, so you just do it. You know what I mean? You don't even fret it. So therefore, you don't have a lot of complaints or issues with having to do it, because it's just a natural state of how you just get things done. So, yeah, but I'll definitely say that we still do have to enjoy ourselves, and I think that's a part of healing and our mental health as well. Like you got to find ways to have outlets and stuff. So you can find me at your local ice cream shop. The season is almost over. Summer kids are back in school. It's time to mess up some people's future. Okay, make some little villains out here. Like in your dark chocolate and dark cherry chocolate ice cream right on the floor, sir. I'm just gonna watch it melt.
Siobhan, you want to go ahead and wrap us up?
Absolutely. I hope that the individuals, males on this phone call, and anybody that is watching or will watch the replay will take something from this and apply it to their lives or encourage another Black male, Black brown community to do the same. And yeah, that's it. I just love you guys and I just want the best for your lives and for y'all to stay encouraged in doing whatever it is that you're designed to do, which is to be prosperous and in good health. So I commission you to go forth and be well.
Thank you.
So appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Anybody with any last words to say? Anything?
Well, yeah, catch us on Sunday. The podcast about nothing. Well, you'll have a panelist, female panelist. Also, watch out for Monday, Easy Monday Motivational with your man, me, CT. Be on the lookout for Just Clowning coming out on Thursday at I believe it's 8:30, as well as be on the lookout for Food Talk with me and Chef Rome. We'll have some fun. We're supposed to go to a food festival today. We're gonna do some recording, do some interviews, and have some fun with food. So, yep.
Cam?
Yeah, just follow me. Everything you see on screen. Got a couple podcasts that I got in the works coming soon. Getting my videography stuff going, music videos and things coming out soon as well. So just tap in and be on the lookout for all that. Definitely appreciate what y'all are doing here. Hopefully this continues to expand and grow. We can get more Black men and just women and things in general on to have these conversations and these enlightenments. And like I said, just I appreciate everything. So keep doing it.
Shooter.
Bam. Great pod. Everybody was great. Make sure you guys do come and see Siobhan on Comfy Couch. That's going to be coming soon.
Aww,
Absolutely.
Shooty.
Check us out tomorrow at 9 p.m. Is that correct? Podcast about nothing. And continue becoming your best self. Do the best that you can do, and that's all I got to say. And make sure you drop your loads off. See you later.
I want to thank Siobhan for having us on the Comfy Couch. We immensely enjoyed ourselves. I hope we did not destroy your couch like Rick James, F your couch, nigga. F your couch, nigga. But yeah, we had fun, and hopefully we can do this again sometime. Remember, again, catch us tomorrow, 9 p.m. Podcast about nothing. We'll have female panelists. We're going to go over the anonymous letter again and get the female perspective on that. We're also going to talk about the messy Usher video again and get the female perspective on that, amongst some other great topics we got for them. Again, everybody, I thank you for being here. We out.